Chapter 10, Million Dollar Question. Kyon's first-person point of view. The city felt even colder when we arrived at our destination, a place that seemed as out of place and charming as a fish in the desert. A library. But not just any library. This one was hidden deep in the heart of the city, tucked between towering buildings as though it was trying to avoid being noticed. Its massive oak doors were nearly buried under ivy, and the windows, covered in dust and grime, let in just enough light to make everything inside look like it was from another time. "You're sure this is the place?" I asked, my voice barely more than a whisper as Sia pushed open one of the heavy doors. "Do you see any other libraries around here?" She replied flatly, not even looking at me. I hesitated. Of course, I didn't. But then again, I didn't know what the hell I was looking for in this city anymore. I was just following her like a lost dog. The air in the library felt thick, heavy with the weight of centuries-old knowledge. It was like walking into a place where time itself had been forgotten, but I didn't have time to appreciate it. Sia was leading me through the labyrinth of shelves with the urgency of someone who knew exactly where they were going. "You're sure about this?" I asked, my voice echoing slightly in the quiet space. Sia didn't even turn to look at me. "You want answers, don't you?" I gritted my teeth. She wasn't wrong. Every part of me was screaming for clarity, for some kind of direction. This whole thing, whatever the hell I was involved in, was spiraling out of control. Vampires. Flux. My half-human, half-vampire existence that felt more like a curse with every passing day. "Just don't expect me to like them," I muttered under my breath, catching up to her. The deeper we went into the library, the more the oppressive silence seemed to settle on me. I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched. And it wasn't just Sia. There was someone else in here. I wasn't wrong. I felt it before I saw him, like the air shifted around us. And then, standing at the end of the row of bookshelves, was a figure. A man. He had silver hair that cascaded past his shoulders, and his skin was pale, almost sickly white under the dim lighting. But it was his eyes that caught me, sharp, piercing, almost as though they were seeing through me. He didn't smile. He didn't need to. "Ah," he said, his voice low but carrying effortlessly across the room. I thought I sensed something unusual. He didn't seem surprised, just intrigued. "Sia, I didn't expect you to bring him here. Not so soon." Sia didn't answer, but her posture tensed. She didn't look pleased to see him, but she wasn't scared either. It was like she was just resigned. I couldn't shake the nagging feeling that this man knew exactly who I was. How? We hadn't even exchanged words. Yet when he looked at me, it felt as if he'd been waiting for me, watching me, for a long time. "You must be Kyon," he said, his gaze intense. Quite the name for someone who doesn't know who they are yet. I froze. The mention of my name sent a jolt through me. How did he know it? I hadn't spoken a word to anyone since arriving, and Sia had never introduced me. "How do you know my name?" I asked, my voice coming out sharper than I intended. The man, his presence almost overwhelming, smirked, but it wasn't a kind expression. "Let's just say I've been watching," he said, his lips curling into something that wasn't quite a smile, but more of an acknowledgement. "You've been making quite an impression on the city, Kyon. Your presence is leaking all over the place. I suppose you've noticed by now." "Leaking?" I felt a chill run down my spine. "Leaking?" I echoed, confused. "Flux," he said, his voice soft but full of weight. "The more you use it, the more you make yourself known. And I'm afraid you've been leaking it out all over the city. Vampires. Flux users. They can all feel it, Kyon. They've been tracking your every move, even if you don't realize it." A sinking feeling twisted in my stomach. What does that mean? Why does it matter? "It means," he said, stepping closer, his gaze never leaving mine, "you've become a beacon, Kyon. And soon, they'll be knocking on your door." His words were like ice water pouring over me. "Both vampires and other Flux users, they can sense you now. They'll come for you soon." I swallowed hard, trying to suppress the unease crawling up my neck. "But I don't even know what the hell is happening to me," I said, my voice trembling slightly. "How do I control it?" He took a step back, eyes narrowing with something akin to amusement or curiosity. "Ah," he said, his voice dropping to a near whisper. "That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?" And just like that, the weight of his words settled into the pit of my stomach. My pulse hammered in my ears. How was I supposed to control something I didn't understand? How could I possibly stop the mess I'd already gotten myself into when I didn't even know how to stop it from leaking out of me? Kadir, so this was his name, smirked again, clearly enjoying my confusion. You'll have to figure it out soon, Kyon, he said, turning away. Before something, or someone, figures it out for you.